This is always a stressful one. Today I'm going to be talking about my all-time favorite makeup for the entire year 2022, and I always struggle with this because it's like choosing between my babies, and you guys know I try so much, but these are the products that I kept reaching for throughout the entire year. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with primers. I have 4. The first one is from Myricks. This is the Yummy Skin Glow Serum. First of all, this smells like cantaloupes, and I love that. I think it smells so good. And it also leaves the prettiest glow, and it's not a sweaty glow. Sometimes I feel like with these glowy primers, which is okay, but the glow is too strong to wear alone, but it does look good underneath foundation. What I like about this is the glow looks really pretty if you don't put any foundation at all. If you just want to go with lightweight makeup, put a little bit of concealer over top and powder, the glow from this is going to show through, and it's really, really pretty. It's a very hydrating consistency, and best of all, it smells like cantaloupe. So I've been loving this primer all year. It ended up becoming one of my favorites. The next primer that I have is from Hourglass. This is the Vanish Airbrush Primer. I put it on this side of my face. This one is more of a smoothing primer, so it evened out my pores and all of that, and also made my skin feel really slick for makeup over top in a good way, not a bad way. The foundation will grab onto it, but the glow serum from Myricks leaves a glow. This one is more smoothing and lightweight on the skin, and it doesn't add a glow, but I do believe it adds hydration, makes the skin feel really smooth and perfectly prepped for makeup. So if you have more of a porous skin type, I definitely recommend this one. This one is so beautiful. I think I prefer this underneath makeup compared to the Myricks, but I like the Myricks more so for everyday and light coverage. But this one really does perfect the way that makeup sits on my skin. So don't forget about this one. Hourglass is pricey, but they really did do an amazing job with this one. This is one I didn't want to love as much as I did because she is so pricey, but gets the job done and more. This is the Chantecaille Sheer Glow Rose Face Tint, and exactly how it says the name is how it looks. It's a sheer glow rosy face tint, and it feels extremely hydrating on the skin. As you know, Chantecaille has amazing skincare, so this has that skincare element to it, but it also leaves a sheer glowy rosy tint to the skin that looks gorgeous underneath makeup as well as just on its own. It makes my skin look and feel better. It's expensive, but to me, this is definitely worth the money, especially if you can get it maybe on sale or with a gift card that you get for Christmas. One of the best primers that I've tried all year. And then the last sort of primary product that we have is from e.l.f. Juxtaposition to the prices of the previous products I just mentioned, but this is the Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I did a bunch of videos covering this, also comparing it to the Charlotte Tilbury glowy product, the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I think that this is different. I think they do give a similar effect, and this is a good alternative. But I much prefer this for coverage. This gives more coverage than the Charlotte Tilbury. And the Charlotte Tilbury also has more of a metallic glow, whereas this one is a little bit more natural. So I actually like this to add an extra layer of coverage. It evens out the skin tone. It's also really pretty on its own. I wouldn't wear the Charlotte Tilbury on its own. So this one feels a little bit more of a true base product to me, and I've very much been enjoying this a lot. And you can see in my demo how beautiful it looks on the skin. It wears really nicely. So if you've been looking for a good glowy product that does provide a little bit of coverage, I definitely recommend this one. I know it's really hard to get a hold of, but I'm sure they are working on getting this stocked because people are trying to buy this. Moving into foundations, I did try a lot of foundations this year, and I have to admit, I didn't like the trend of foundations this year. They were all very glowy, which I thought looked quite heavy on my skin and emphasized texture and such, but these ones were the ones that I was like, you're amazing. So this is one of my new all-time favorites. This is from Hourglass. It's the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I have it on this side of my face. It is smoothing, blurring, perfecting, good medium coverage, makes my skin look really soft. I love this. It's one of my new favorite everyday foundations. It wears beautifully as well. My skin just looks really smooth and blurred when I apply this. It really is truly special. Definitely the best foundation, in my opinion, that Hourglass has ever launched. I love this. This is one of my new all-time favorites, not just for the year, but of all time. Another one that's right up there with the thoughts of the Hourglass is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Oh my gosh, this one is also so good. A new all-time favorite. This one is on this side of the face. I actually have a lot of NARS foundations that I don't like, but this one is by far my all-time favorite that they have. It actually looks very similar to the Hourglass in how smooth and perfecting it looks. I will say this one has a touch more glow to them, so that's what the difference is going to be. This one's a little bit glowier. The Hourglass is a little bit more smoothing, but this one feels a little bit more lightweight, and I'm going to grab for this one when I want it to be more of like a lightweight, glowy look to the skin. It looks amazing. Everything I said about the Hourglass, this one also does. It's just a little less smoothing, but it still looks phenomenal. And I think this one looks a little bit more skin-like compared to the Hourglass because it does have a little bit more of like a sheer glow to it. Stunning. My favorite foundation from NARS. I can't believe they launched it this year. It's incredible. I actually do have a couple of drugstore foundations to share with you that I thought were really, really nice. So Catrice launched an updated version of their HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. It's a reformulation, and they actually managed to make it cheaper. This is the best full coverage foundation from the drugstore. I think it really does perfect the skin. You do have to be careful because if you over apply, it can look a little makeup-y on the skin, but I'm okay with that. If I'm looking for full coverage, this is the one that I'm gonna go for. It also lasts all day. The price is like $10. You cannot go wrong with this, and I swear the reformulation is better than the original version. So if you're looking down the drugstore aisles, you need a full coverage event makeup item, this is the foundation you should get. So, love this. Another drugstore foundation that I tried that's the opposite of the Catrice. This one is more for light coverage every day. This L'Oreal Age Perfect Tinted Balm is amazing, and this one is also very trendy with those glowy products that I was talking about. This is everything the Jones Road foundation should have been. The Jones Road, I love the idea of it. Super thin, very glowy. That one just made me look super greasy, feel very sticky. This has all the benefits and effects of the Jones Road foundation, minus the stickiness and the greasiness. You can just apply this to the face. It gives really light coverage, but it makes your skin look so healthy, so glowy, and just a little bit better. So I do love this. I can't believe this is a drugstore formulation, so definitely swipe this up if you can. It's amazing. And then the last foundation that I have, obviously incredible. It's in this video, but the Wayne Goss The Luxury Cream Foundation. This is the best cream foundation that launched this year. It's very smooth and lightweight on the skin. It looks like skin. I like because it is a cream foundation. You can really customize what you get out of this. You can get a light coverage for every day with this, but you can also build this up to get quite full coverage, and it doesn't cake up as you layer it on. It continues to look really smooth and creamy on the skin. I don't know, like a lot of these newer brands won't come out with foundation, so it's like kind of random that Wayne Goss did, but not only did he come out with a foundation, but it was amazing. It was one of the best ones that launched this year. This truly is a luxurious cream foundation, and I love it. I think he did a phenomenal job with the formulation on this, and I think so many skin types are going to enjoy this. Now, concealers, if you ask me, for this year was a complete bust. I tried a lot of concealers. All of them looked really thick and heavy on my under eyes because, again, that glowy trend was so popular. But the only concealer that was new that stood out to me was the Milk Makeup Future Fluid Cream Concealer. This guy is incredible. It's very liquidy, which I like because it blends out. It looks like skin. It doesn't look heavy or glowy like all of the newer concealers. Because it's so liquidy, it looks super thin, but it still leaves a good medium coverage. And the finish of it is very skin-like, very smooth, nice and thin, which I keep harping on because I just hate the thickness of all the new concealers. It doesn't look bad with the under eyes. It doesn't crease over time, and even if it does, I mean, those are the lines on your face. It doesn't make the creasing or the wrinkles that you might have look worse. It works well with a lot of powders. By far the best concealer that I tried this year. I haven't been able to put this down since I picked it up, and when it launched, I wasn't even that excited about it, but I picked it up on a whim and I was shocked shocked. This has all of the characteristics that I love in a concealer, so if you haven't given this a try, this is the best one that launched this year. Period. I stamp it. I've been also quite comfortable with my normal powder routine. There was only one powder that came out this year that knocked my socks off, and that's from Jaclyn Cosmetics. It was the collaboration with her mom, the Robin collection. But the name of this, and I hope she never gets rid of this, is the Sheer Light Powder Move. Well, it's called the Powder Move Loose Setting Powder. I have mine in the shade Sheer Light. This has similarities to the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder and the Huda Beauty in how smooth it makes the skin look. This one has a little bit more color to it, but this is amazing for setting the under eyes. Whenever I set the under eyes with this, I feel like the area looks very airbrushed. Also, when you put it all over the face, it smooths and blurs and gives that soft look to the face. Stunning, right up there with the Huda and the Maybelline. So if you haven't tried this, one of my all-time favorite powders now. Let's move on to the cream bronzers. I have a couple different formulas. So the first one I've been using all year. I actually reviewed it like 2 days before the end of last year, so I'm counting it as it launched this year. It's the Rephr Beauty bronzer sticks. I'm not going to talk about these too much because these were super trendy. I've used them so many times. I've talked about them so many times. I feel like I've used them so much that I can't believe they only launched within the last year. But these are so beginner friendly because of how malleable they are. They just blend like a dream. You can put it directly on the face and then use your sponge and blend it out, and it's just gonna mush out and look so beautiful. The best shade for my skin tone is Happy Soul, but I'll use Always Sunny if I need something a little bit more deep and warm, but definitely one of the easiest bronzer sticks to use. And then another cream bronzer that I fell in love with this year is from the brand Say. This is the Natural Cream Bronzer in the shade Light Bronze. So what I love about this is the tone. It is a little bit more on the warm side, but it is perfect for the summer, for that warm look to the skin, but still not too warm. It also blends very seamlessly into the skin. It meshes well with any products that I have paired it with. I like to just stick a damp beauty blender in and then push it out all around my face. I make sure you use the butt end of the beauty blender because that's going to give it the most flawless airbrushed effect, but blends really beautifully. I love the bronzer in a pot format because it is really easy just to go in with a big applicator so that it can already look as blended as possible, and the tone of this is really nice. It leaves a soft glow to it because of the finish. Very beautiful. Also loved this cream bronzer this year. I have a couple cream blushes. The first one, oh my gosh, this is the best of this formula I've ever tried. It's from Rephr Beauty, and these are the cheek and lipsticks. So normally with cheek and lipsticks, I tend to only use them for the cheeks because I feel like it's always a failure on the lips, or the opposite. Sometimes they're so Vaseline and liquidy that they can only be used on the lips. This is the only formula I've ever tried that is truly perfect for the cheeks and the lips. It is the best lip and cheek stick I have ever used. I have the two shades Broadway Baby and Audition. It's packed with pigment but blends out really easily, so it is not overpowering on the face, and then you see the true level of pigment when you put it directly on the lips. It feels exactly like a lipstick. So if you want a true all-in-one lip and cheek stick, these from Rephr Beauty, amazing. I was not impressed, generally speaking, with the Rephr Beauty launch, but these absolutely floored me. I can't believe they came out with a product this good. It is so stinking incredible. And then the other cream blush that I fell in love with this year, and I have concern, and I'll tell you, but this is the Item Beauty Blush and Like Cream Blush in the shade It's Verified. And I hope that you can see in the demo, when I apply this to the left cheek, the way that it applies looks airbrushed. It looks like my skin. It smooths out the entire area. Don't get me wrong, you know I love those Rephr Beauty blush sticks, but when I put this one on my face, it looked so much smoother because it doesn't have a glow to it. It has more of like a cream powder kind of consistency, I would say. It almost feels more so like a powder than it does a cream, but I still used a damp beauty blender to apply it. Just melted into the skin. Now my main concern about this is on sale at Sephora. Actually, the whole brand is on sale at Sephora. So I mean, if you want this, you can get it for $10, which is really great. But also, is Iden Beauty leaving Sephora? I'll be really sad because this formula, incredible. I have quite a few powder blush formulations. While I did love all of the cream blushes that were super trendy this year, I always feel like I need to set it with a powder blush. So these are the formulas that I was constantly reaching for. So the first one is from M Cosmetics. I've collected quite a few colors, but these are the Heaven's Glow blushes. So what makes these special is they're kind of a more mineral pressed finish. So they don't really have much fallout and they have a very soft glow to them. Well, I wouldn't even say soft. It's glowy, but it's not metallic glowy, and it doesn't have a ton of pigment either. But these are just the perfect blush formula to finish off a cream blush. And even if you just want a really soft glowy cheek without any cream blush underneath, these apply so effortlessly to the skin because of the formula and the nature of it. It just, oh geez, can I not break it? It just blends out with the brush by itself. So if you're looking for a good glowy blush, these M Cosmetic ones are stunning. And then Michelle Phan really has good taste for color because these blushes, delightful. They just are perfect for the exact look that I'm always going for. So these are stunning. Another formula that I've been constantly reaching for this year is by Bare Minerals, and it's the bronzer. So the catch to this is it's supposed to be the perfect combination between a bronzer and a blush. If you ask me, it's just a blush, but the tones can run a little deeper. So these have the most gorgeous glowy finish. They carry a lot more pigment than the M Cosmetics. I used the shade Kiss of Copper, kind of where my bronzer and blush would meet, and it added the perfect level of depth to my face. The shimmer isn't unflattering. It's a very high quality shimmer, meaning it's not going to really make your texture look any worse at all. It just smooths them right over. Well, smooth is a strong word, but it goes right over them. So this is a beautiful formula. As soon as you touch it, you'll understand what I mean, but been reaching for this one a lot. And then these are not new, but I did want to talk about how I fell in love with, not that my love ever went away, but I've just been grabbing for these nonstop, the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow blushes. So we have the coral shade and the pink. Don't sleep on the coral shade. The coral shade is amazing in the summer for a more corally kind of look. These went super trending this year, so it just inspired me to keep pulling these out, and I've been enjoying them. The tones of these are so perfect because they look a lot brighter in the pan, and you do get that look on the cheek, but somehow it never looks like too much because of the formula. It's so stinking good. Love this formula. How many times can I say formula? Formula, formula, formula. You know, I had to talk about my Laura Mercier, and I feel comfortable talking about these even though I talk about them every year because I buy new shades every year. So the winners this year, I picked up Strawberry first and foremost, which is a very bright pink. I picked this up during the most recent Sephora sale. The kind of cold girl makeup, like a blue-based pink, is really popular. So this one is very good for that look. It also is good if you just want to pop on the cheek, like you already have your blush on, but you just want something like oomph, you know, to finish it off. This is perfect for that. I can't remember if the last sale I picked up Passion Fruit. I think I picked up Ginger. Ginger is also a very pretty, natural, everyday color. So if you're looking for a neutral blush that's gonna go with everything, I do recommend the shade Ginger. I've talked about these a lot. I just think these are the perfect blush formulation. They do have like a semi-matte finish, but they blend out beautifully. They get their job done as a blush. It's a luxury formula, if you ask me. One of the best blushes and super underrated. Laura Mercier killed it with these. Got a couple powder highlights. So the first one is from Haus Labs. As you know, Haus Labs just launched this year, whole new brand, completely rebranded, came out with a new product line. I think they did an incredible job with their product line, but these highlights are so nice. So first of all, I love the embossment. The color range that they have literally makes me drool every time I walk past it at Sephora. Some of the shades are kind of holographic, but these also look very smooth and beautiful on the skin. So what I really like about these are baked gelée formula, so you don't get any fallout, but the way that they blend into the skin and with your makeup is you can't really tell where the product starts and stops. It looks like it literally meshes in with the base products that you have underneath, so it gives that kind of glow from within look that's still quite kapow wow wow. So yeah, love these. Though I must say, the Rare Beauty highlights that just launched, giving these a run for their money. It's like too early for me to put them in this video, but I really like those Rare Beauty highlights. And then the last highlight that I've been like fainting over all year, I've been reaching for this Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Multi Glow, and I've heard mixed reviews on these. Personally, I love them. I reach for them all the time. There's 2 shades, that's why I'm saying them, but I mostly use this shade. So I like this because you can kind of customize it. You have a lighter side and then a darker side. I also will just mix them all together. This is a little bit more metallic than the House Lab, so I did put it right on the heaviest point right here where I would want the most color. It gives that gleam, but I do like that this formula does have versatility, so you can kind of get a lighter, more natural glow, but it easily builds up. This is a highlight that I've been reaching for all year. I think it's stunning. I love the tone, and it is quite a glam highlight. That's the way I would describe it. And then the last cheek product that I had, I couldn't not mention the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. So they launched 3. I loved the concept this year. I love the colors that they offered. I think this is the best year of offerings that they have for these palettes in a long time. You can also customize the packaging. This is the original packaging that this particular palette's gonna come in, but this is the elephant one. This is best suited for my skin tone of all the ones that launched, but I love these every year. They're an all-time favorite every year. Hourglass just has the best cheek formulations, bronzer, powder, blush, highlighter. They do the best of it all. I think it's a great deal. Even though it is quite expensive, I will use every single product in here. Their blushes have the prettiest glow to the cheek. The bronzers blend out like butter. These set the face beautifully. The highlight also really nice. Hourglass just has something special about them that's hard to describe. They are a truly luxurious formulation that I highly recommend. And I know it's expensive to think about, but it's a good deal for what you pay when it comes to Hourglass. The formula is unmatched, honestly, truly. And actually, the very last complexion product that I have to talk about is a setting spray from Rephr Beauty. I discovered this year from a little PR package that they sent me. I always thought, I don't need another setting spray, but this is a phenomenal one. This is the Always an Optimist 4-in-1 mist. So this one is a glowier one. So I feel like every time I set my face, this kind of finishes off my makeup with a nice fresh glow. So if your face is looking a little dry or powdery, this is definitely one that I would recommend going into. It also has a lovely mist, soft fragrance to it, but still not too strong. And you know, I felt like a few years ago, the setting sprays that they said were glowy didn't do anything. Like, it looked glowy when your face was wet, and then it would dry and you wouldn't see anything after that. This one definitely does leave the glowiness after it dries. So that glowy look that's really popular now, that's a great product to use to achieve that. And already, just like that, we're gonna move on to the eyes, starting off with eyebrows. There is one eyebrow product that I have that is completely unmatched. The best eyebrow gel I've ever used in my life. #1, can't be beat. There were other brow products that I enjoyed this year, but I simply couldn't put them in this video because this is the one, you guys. This is the Too Faced Fluff and Hold Laminating Brow Wax, a random product that I picked up that ended up being a product that I can confidently say, not even as an annoying influencer throwing this word around, I can confidently say I am obsessed 100% with this product. This gives the perfect, longest lasting, fluffy, laminated look to the eyebrows. I have never come across a product that separated my eyebrows like this, that made my eyebrows look so much thicker. Wherever you brush your brows to go, this is gonna listen. It's gonna last all day. It still doesn't feel too heavy. I've just never had an eyebrow product that made my brows look like this. So fluffy, so full. It's incredible. I mean, no brow gels make my brows look like this. They look amazing right now because of this product. #1. I also did want to pull out, though, the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Boundless Bisque. I picked this up this year and I have incorporated it really into my everyday makeup routine. I use it just to clean up under the brows. You can see that little bit of brightness. It's with this pencil. You can do a lot with this. You can, you know, highlight the inner corners with this. You can line the waterline with this. Whatever you want. This is a multi-use pencil. I actually have another shade that I'm going to talk about when we come to lip liners, but I've been using this to clean up the brows because it's just so easy. It's easier than getting a synthetic brush and going into concealer and cleaning up underneath. This one is like one-stop go. You just pull the pencil out like that, blend it out with your finger or a brush, and you're good to go. And then I also do have a new favorite eye primer from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the First Space eyeshadow primer, also from the collection with her mom. Her mom knows what's up. I am a little picky when it comes to eye primers. Sometimes I just prefer to use concealer. I really like this because of how lightweight it is, and I also do feel like it's somewhat like blurs the eyelid. It makes the eyelid look more smooth. It does help with longevity, though I will say I don't really have trouble with longevity when it comes to eyeshadow because I don't have an oily eyelid, but I love how this preps my eye for eyeshadow. The shadows blend perfectly over it. It blurs the eyelid, which is incredible without applying too much coverage. So sometimes I will go in with a little bit of concealer, like right in here, and then I will use this, and my eyelid is prepped for eyeshadow perfectly. So this is what I'm going for all year when it comes to eyeshadow primer. Now for eyeshadows, I actually am going to do the best eyeshadows of 2022 video, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that. If you are curious what's on my eyes though, I did use the Viseart Petit Fours in Amelie, which is one of the new quads, and I was pleasantly surprised. Today's my first day playing with it. It's stunning. It's a really pretty, warm, everyday color. I wasn't that excited about it, but now that I have it on, I think it's honestly amazing. They have one shade in there. I'm going on a tangent, but one of the shimmer shades in here is arguably the best shimmer shade I've ever tried from Viseart, but that's for another video, but I love that. So this year was the year of brown eyeliners for me. I mean, I use black eyeliners, obviously, but the brown eyeliners took the cake this year. So I have a few favorites I want to share with you. The first one is from Jones Road Beauty. This is the best pencil in the shade brown, and it is just exactly as the name is. The best pencil. Quite ballsy of Bobby to name it that, but she definitely deserves it. This is such a good, easy pencil to use. I used it today. Even with the eyeshadow, I didn't struggle to get it to show over top. It has a dryness to it, which is interesting, but it applies really creamy. It doesn't feel creamy, but it applies with the ease as if it should be creamy. It's honestly just very, very interesting how it works, and the color of it's just like a very natural brown, which is definitely not as intense as a black eyeliner. Super duper easy to use. If you're not as comfortable with eyeliner, this is a pencil that I think you will have an easier time working with because there's no drag on the eyelid with this, and it also isn't too creamy to where it kind of can make a mess or overblend. Very easy. It's almost like eyeshadow is how I would describe it. You know how eyeshadow is easier to line the eyes with? This is like eyeshadow in a pencil, so it makes it that much easier to apply. Another one that I like that's a little bit more creamy depending on what vibe you're going for. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is a Rockin' Kohl liquid eye pencil in Barbarella Brown. So this one is an eye kohl, meaning it's intended to be kind of thick and creamy. So I really liked this for smudgy looks or intense brown smoky eyes, especially putting this in the waterline. So what I would do if I wanted a quick smudgy brown look is I would just line a little bit of the outer corner of my lash line, and I would take my finger and literally just blend it out, and I would have the perfect smudgy brown eyeliner. So this one is deeper than the Bobbi Brown. It has more opaqueness to it because it is more creamy and thick, but you have options to blend. So this is kind of for a different vibe, but I loved this one as well. And then the last brown eyeliner that deserves a mention is from One Size. This is their Point Made liquid eyeliner formula in the shade Busty Brown. I like this brown because it's not too dark. It's not like a brown black. It really is a true mid-tone brown. And I did use it today to kind of intensify what the Bobbi Brown gave me. So I kind of put it at the bottom of my wing, and I pressed it against my lash line as well for more precision. I like this formula, and I really love the color of this brown. I think it's the perfect everyday brown eyeliner. It makes it easy to get an inner corner wing with as well because of the applicator. So this one also deserved a mention. I fell in love with 3 mascaras, and before this year, I was anti-high-end mascaras. Unfortunately, the high-end brands really killed it this year, so I have some favorite high-end mascaras that I do think are worth the price. The first one is from Tower 28. This is probably the mascara of the year for me. This is the Make Waves mascara, and what makes this special for me is it actually lifts my lashes. I have very thin, sparse, short lashes. This actually gives my lashes some lift, and I'm telling you, naturally, my eyelashes go like this. Okay, they're down, they're straight, a very typical Asian characteristic. I have that feature as well. This actually gives them some lift, it gives them length, it gives them volume. So this is the #1 mascara for me all year, but these next two are also very nice. The first one that I have is from Rephr Beauty. I feel like this one gives such amazing volume, yet still giving very nice separation. Every time I use this mascara, I love the way my lashes look. And a mascara that's very similar to it that I also have been using equally as much is the Patrick Ta 4 Eyes Major Volume Mascara. I would say this one gives a little bit more heavy on the volume, whereas the Rare Beauty is a little bit more so across the board, where it does give the volume, but it also gives separation and a little bit of length as well. But both I still love equally. So Tower 28 just a little better, but if I hadn't discovered this toward the end of the year, these two would have been the mascara of the year. So had to throw those in as well. And now we are on to the final category, which is the lips. So let's start off with lip liners. I had a thing for brown lip liners, just as I did with eyeliners. So I have 3 different formulas and colors to share with you. The first one is from Makeup Forever. This again is the artist color pencil that I showed you in Boundless Bisque for the eyebrows. This is the shade Anywhere Caffeine. This is the perfect everyday lip liner. If I'm thinking correctly, I believe the shade actually sold out because Hailey Bieber also uses a shade, because it is the perfect just everyday, almost contour shade, just to get a little bit of definition around the lips. So that goes to show you how versatile these pencils are, because you can use them for eyeliner, for the face, for lip liner, and I love that shade. Tower 28 also launched some liners this year. These are also kind of like the Makeup Forever in that you can use them everywhere, but personally I just prefer this formula for the lips. These are the multi-liners. This one is in the shade Draw Me that I showed you today. It is darker than the Makeup Forever one, but they have a few other shades that I used a lot as well. This one is very long lasting. It has kind of a drier formulation to it, and the colors that they came out with from Tower 28 were very natural. They're going to work with a lot of different skin tones, so definitely look into these because I love the colors that they dropped. It was a minimal range, but still very, very good. And then the last lip liners that I've been using, these are not new, but kind of a rediscovery for me. I think they might be discontinuing them, but they are the best because these are the Nabla Close Up Lip Shapers. I have the shade Nude 3 and 4, but Nude 3 is my perfect nude. So these have a creamier consistency to them, and typically I do prefer a more dry lip liner consistency, but these are amazing because they last forever. No matter what lip product I put on top, even when that product fades, this lip liner is still lying underneath. So for longevity purposes, these Nabla ones, amazing. Lipstick. My favorite lipstick this year, and I wasn't as excited about lip products this year. I was tending to reach for my typical Pat McGrath lipstick, Charlotte Tilbury, Natasha Denona, same old, fell into a cycle until this one arrived. So this is from Merit Beauty, and first of all, the Merit Beauty packaging, right? So luxe. This is the lipstick in the shade Baby, and this is the perfect everyday pinky mauve shade. It's a beautiful formulation, very hydrating on the lips, doesn't feel too heavy, and lasts a decent amount of time, but the perfect pinky nude. I used it all the time ever since this entered my collection. This is the lipstick of the year. Also really into this new formulation that came out this year from ColourPop, the glowing lip formulations. So I've been a bit skeptical of a few of their formulas that they have, but once the glowing lip formula launched, there's no going back. This is the best formulation when it comes to lips from ColourPop, and all it is, it's like just a glowy lipstick. It lasts a good amount of time. It's very comfortable on the lips, and you can see when it wore down, it did lose a little bit of the glow, but it still left a good amount of color, so it still just had very good last time, and it's just super comfy. The perfect everyday lip. They have a bunch of shades because they're ColourPop. Perfect for your purse, because if you lose them or they melt or something happens to them, it's not that big of a deal, but it's a great formula. You don't need to look into a mirror to apply it. Feels really good, applies a good amount of pigment. The best formula that ColourPop launched this year, I think. And then my favorite liquid lipstick, this is not new, but I still have just been using this as the only liquid lipstick in my collection pretty much. I have other liquid lipsticks, but this is the only one that I've been reaching for. The Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. I just want to mention these for around the holidays when everybody's wearing red lips. Pick this up in a red color for the holidays because it will not move. It will not move during your dinner. These are the longest lasting lipsticks on the market, and I've been using them all year, so I wanted to just throw this one in. And then the very very last lip product that I have is a new lip gloss formulation that I discovered this year that ended up becoming one of my all-time favorites. It's from City Beauty and they are called the City Lips. They have a beautiful color range, but these are like lip filler in a bottle. So they don't even really feel plumping at all, but it's the texture of these that make these look super plumping to the lips. Because they have like a thicker consistency to them that's still not sticky, it actually fills in the lines of the lips, which will give a more full effect, as well as because of the gloss sheen that it has, it also makes the lips look more plump. So these are like what I call lip filler in a bottle, and City Beauty is actually a brand that creates their products with mature women in mind. So these are the perfect lip glosses for mature women as well, and they're so comfy and they just mesh with your lip products underneath to make the lips feel super duper comfy. It almost feels like you have a lip balm over top. So love that lip gloss formulation. I only pulled 3 shades, but there's actually a lot more that I love from this brand. Wow, oh my gosh, and there you have it, you guys. Those are all of my favorite products for the year 2022. I thought I was gonna keep this video minimal. I lied to myself. I can't not mention any of these products. They had to be in this video because I've been loving these this year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel because we are in the middle of Vlogmas and I do have more favorites videos coming, particularly the eyeshadow palettes, but I've also done the worst stuff a few days ago if you want to check that out. So I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye guys, have a good one.